Welcome back to What She Said Sports. All right. So, tonight's a preseason game. Carolina Panthers and with Jimmy Horn Jr. get to showcase themselves for the last time in a preseason game. And the Panthers have expectations. So we're going to talk about that. Shadeur Sanders, y'all know he's back. And he had a press conference today. So we're going to take a look at some of the highlights of his press conference. We're going to talk about that. And somebody put together some numbers off the jersey sales with the 250 million, which we know it has surpassed that. But we're going to take a look at the distribution of those of that revenue, so y'all can just kind of see. Now, I'm not saying it's 100%, but it's probably close to it. So welcome back, everybody. Happy Thursday. Football begins tonight. I think we're now 9 days with the Colorado Buffaloes. We'll be talking about them again tonight. DNVR did a projection of the starters. We're going to take a look at it and maybe add to it, subtract from it, and put our spin on it at What She Said Sports. So for now, let's get into it. I see the squad is all joining in. Hey, Bumpty. Hey, B. Thomas. How you doing? Robin, everybody. All right. So let's get into it. So let's go into the schedule. All right. So Travis Hunter is not playing tonight. Travis Hunter preseason has come to an end. He's not playing again tonight. He missed 2 games. I don't know if he's out due to an injury still, but I know he's not playing. Maybe they just, they said their starters are not playing. He's technically a starter as a receiver and second string on defense, but he's not playing tonight. So whatever game he's in, we'll be looking for whatever Jaguars game that happens. We'll be looking for Cameron Silma-Craig and BJ Green. BJ Green has some good numbers with the Jags. I expect him to make the squad. Hopefully he and Cameron Silma-Craig. We know, pretty much Travis Hunter is going to be there. So it looks like Jimmy Horn Jr. is up tonight. 7 p.m. We'll be live for the game. The expectations for special teams is high, and he's a part of the special teams unit. But they also play him at wide receiver, at slot. So I'm going to be watching the game. If y'all want to join us, we'll go live at 7 o'clock. It's versus the Steelers. I think that's who Tampa Bay played last week. And it was a pretty tough match. So we'll see what it looks like. Hopefully the Carolina Panthers get better. They've lost 2 games now, I think. So let's see what happens. And we're looking for our guy, Jimmy, to ball out tonight. Because, again, expectations are high for special teams. And he's a part of that unit. All right, so we'll update the schedule for everybody else, maybe probably for tomorrow as we get into it, the weekend, the games that happen on Friday, Saturday, and some even on Sunday, and some even on Monday. Now, speaking of preseason games, Shedeur is playing. Now, I personally feel like this is a marketing thing because advertisers were not happy that people were tuning out because Shedeur was not in the game. And at the game, people were more in the tailgate areas. Once they found out Shedeur wasn't playing. So the way it goes, according to Daniel Oyefuse, we know that Kenny Pickett is not playing. And there's people that are upset, and we're going to talk about that. Not that he's not playing, but he hasn't proven anything. And so Kenny Pickett's out, and the 1 and the 2 are Dillon Gabriel is the QB2, and Flacco is going to start. Now, interesting today in practice, and I kind of remind y'all of who Flacco is. Now, reminder, I'm not saying Shedeur got to start. I'm not saying it. I personally told you, I don't even think he needs to play another preseason game for them because he's proven who he is. Flacco hadn't proven anything. People pointed out his numbers weren't great. He's 2 years older than he was the last time he was there. And when Flacco played in 2023, what happened? Flacco had 13 touchdowns. That's great, right? He also had 8 interceptions. Okay, so, that's over half. So today, Carson Swessinger picked him off in practice. I said, just a reminder, 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Buckle up. Yeah, and then Dillon is the 2. Oh, okay. Clue me in on the highlights because I don't know when they're going to put Shedeur in. I think they're going to try to hold the audience captive looking for Shedeur. Not doing it. Not doing it. If we got another buff playing, not doing it. I'm going to watch the other buff because, see, they know what they're doing. And yesterday, people pointed out to me, and I went back and looked, at the footage that Haslam was on the field. And I did see Stefanski with his back turned where Shedeur was throwing while he probably trying to tell Haslam something. And Haslam is standing there looking, etc. I'm like, if Haslam want to let Stefanski, who's a Nepo baby, run his organization into the ground, that's on him. If they want to bypass one of the best franchise QBs that's pro-ready, proven pro-ready, that can take them to the next level, so be it. Because Shedeur going to be elsewhere. No, don't know what elsewhere looks like, but he'll be elsewhere. Because if they want to hold him hostage and trot him out for advertisers to be happy to make some money every now and then, it's going to backfire. Once fans see that's what they're doing tonight, if that game is trash and they push Shedeur in to try to recover it, see, saying Shedeur will play and making Dillon the backup, Shedeur shouldn't be cleaning up Dillon's messes. So that's what they have to look forward to. Probably not watching that game. Again, Flacco picked off in practice. That'll tell you everything that's going to go down this season. Cleveland is setting up a mess, but let them do it. See, you got to let people do what they want to do. Now, Shedeur's press conference was great. It's beyond media training. Somebody tagged me on X and was saying, talking about some of the things he was talking about them giving me more time to cook. And I got tagged in it and I said, that's grown. I said, he's tough, he's resilient, he's unbothered, and he's the winner. In the thumbnail and the caption, I posted Shadeur Sanders is unbothered and by Dillon Gabriel's comments because, he was asked about that, and he had a response. We'll take a look at it, right? But Shedeur is Shedeur. And I love the things he said about Huntley being there, another angel on his path, and he sees it. He sees it, So let's get into his comments. But before we get into that, I want to talk about these numbers. Here we go. So somebody put this together. I'm not saying it's spot on, but it's probably close, right? Again, the percentage of the revenue sharing that's standard for all NFL players on jersey sales is undisclosed. So we don't know what it is. I feel like people are guessing on this, but it's probably about right. So we're talking 250 million in jersey sales, right? It says Sanders will receive 14 million. Cleveland Browns receive 50 million. NFL receives 37.5 million. Retailers receive 150 million. And the Players Association receives 5. Okay, I don't know why the Players Association receive anything because they should be out here at the games with a representative protecting Shedeur. But do you see that happening? So they're not useful. Maybe you have to file agreements for them to do their job. So $5 million is a lot. Don't know if this is accurate. When I looked it up, it was a little different. When I looked the numbers up, it was the retailers getting about 87 million. The NFL, when they said the NFL receives 37.5, I think they're talking about the league. I didn't see anything like that. What I do know, Shedeur gets a cut, just like every other player gets a cut of their jersey when it's sold, including Travis and including all the Buffs, right? And 32 teams split up a significant amount. So whatever percentage goes to the teams, they divide that by 32 teams. So it's not like Cleveland gets all of it. They have to divide that by 32 teams. And the amount of money Shedeur has made in jerseys is equivalent to the one check that each owner gets for TV rights deals. And they look at it as, well, that's just going to go to the teams. So he's helping to prop up the teams. So people are pointing out they're just using him for clicks, revenue, making money. And that's facts. And they know, and now they're using him to sell media space because advertisers not happy if he's not playing. So what did they come out and say? He's going to play. We don't know if he's going to start. We don't know if he's going to finish. They want to keep you glued to the TV. I'm not doing it. Because for one, he's better than that. He should actually be the one starting. He's better than Dillon. Flacco hasn't proven anything. And as somebody pointed out today, it's wild that Kenny Pickett hasn't proven a damn thing. And he just automatically gets the QB2. I said, it's not wild. It's discriminatory. I said, Shedeur has had to prove everything. And it still doesn't matter. I said, and Shedeur has proven he's better than Dillon. And Dillon is still in front of Shedeur. Flacco ain't proved nothing either. I said, this is what Jim Crow is. This is what Jim Crow is. The black man has to prove everything. You got to be 2 times better than, and it still doesn't matter because you're black. It's not wild. It's discriminatory. So if this is how Haslam wants to move forward, good luck. Good luck. That's all I can say. Good luck to you. So that's the numbers. Again, it's a little off, but the point is he gets a very small cut of the 250 million. And I know the retailers, the manufacturers got to get paid. I know the team split some of the money. So it's kind of right. But what this shows you is, he gets 14 million, which honestly is more than his first year contract will be. So God gave him his money back. Y'all know that old saying in the song, I'm gonna give you back what the devil stole from you. He got it back plus some, because he was probably gonna make about maybe $8 million this year. I have to look at Travis's contract and see what the first year payout is. So he got this, and when they get his money right, he gonna be the one that's winning. So you see how the money is distributed. This is just a little off in terms of who it goes to, but the point is, out of 250 million, he gets about maybe 10 to 14 million. He gets a small chunk. And I don't even know why the Players Association would get a dime. So that's that on that, just so y'all can kind of wrap your head around the visual about how much money he's generating and how little he's getting back. It actually summarizes what's happening in Cleveland, how much he's given, how much he's brought to the table, and he's getting little respect back for it. No acknowledgement for it. Still being held back, and now just being a prop on the bench to sell ad space. And this shows you, and people want to say this about Coach Prime. Absolutely not. This is not happening in Shiloh. This is not happening in Shiloh. It's not happening in Shiloh at all. It's not even happening to the other players. So it's not even about CU at this point. Yeah, I'll tell you, Coach Prime was a scapegoat. It was a bonus that they held back the team. That's why when Shedeur got drafted, everybody else came through. But that wasn't the primary issue. The primary reason this is happening to Shedeur is 17 to 32. This is also why Anthony Richardson got robbed for his job from Daniel Jones. And this is why this weekend, Spencer Rattler, who's already proven he's the best, he's black, and the NFL clearly goes by the one-drop rule, is competing with Tyler Shaw, who been to the Manning Academy, who still failed, and they want to give him another opportunity. And then they just going to probably do what they doing to Shedeur, unless they fans stand on their heads. And in New Orleans, it's very possible. In New Orleans, it's possible. In Cleveland, it's too many people aligned with Kevin Stefanski and his servant leadership. It's too many people. And for the ones that are not like that, they just tiptoeing around the conversation. When somebody is saying it's wild that what's his name? Kenny Pickett hasn't proven anything. I'm like, it's not wild. It's discriminatory. They just want to tiptoe around this subject. But there are people calling it out. It's Jim Crow. It's the same thing. I mean, I know a lot of us weren't around doing Jim Crow, but a lot of us were, right? So if not, we had parents and grandparents that were. If not, you know your history. This is what Jim Crow looks like. This is exactly what Jim Crow looks like. The best black man has to be put behind mediocre white people. This is what Jim Crow is. Your skills don't matter here. You're still black. So it's not wild. It's discriminatory, and people need to call it out. But don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Because at this point, when you keep seeing people put on Shedeur's path, like in Joku first, then we got Myles Garrett. Then you got the other players in the Panthers game telling him he's the truth. He goes out there and he balls out. Jalen Hurts, when he got injured, Jalen Hurts. Now he's with Huntley. And I noticed in the practice video from yesterday, they had him paired up with Huntley throwing. I said, oh, okay, they done lumped Shedeur into the category of Huntley, which means they could discard Shedeur like they discarded Huntley. Do it. I mean, really do it. Because if he don't get his money, it's going to be a problem, because you owe him $14 million from what I can see. But again, I don't know how it works with the payout scale. And I don't know how they get paid, when they get paid, if it's this year, next year, what happens if he gets cut? Does the money revert to the team? But what they are doing is using him to calm advertisers and sponsors down as little as possible, so people will tune in and watch the game to make advertisers happy. Remember, advertisers purchase ad space. Yes, you can purchase it at the last minute, but overall, they do their buying. For preseason games, with Shedeur on your roster, I'm going to spend $10 million. Because why? He has Nike, he has Gatorade, he has 3 million fans and followers, 2 million of which bought jerseys and spent money. And they're like, look, I ain't trying to get into your politics, but you're going to need to have him out there. So they begrudgingly put Shedeur out there. So let me tell you what this game going to look like. If Flacco got picked off in practice, again, they're probably not playing against the Rams ones. It should be pretty easy. You already know what you're going to see with Dillon. They're going to try to set it up for him. They're going to put Flacco out there, I guess, to get the lead going and put Dillon out there and make it look like he won the game. And then they're going to bring Shedeur out at the last minute. This ain't going to get no better. This is not going to get any better. If Flacco is out there throwing interceptions, if Dillon looked like Dillon, they're going to have to push Shedeur out there week 1, or it's going to be a problem. People already want Shedeur to play in the Bengals-Cincinnati game, whether it's at the end of the season or the beginning of the season. That's how much some of the people in the Browns media believe that Shedeur is that guy. That's how much. They want to put him, if you're only going to let him play in 2 games, then see, that's why I have a problem. Why are you okay with that? See, that's where I come in. You want to yell and scream because he being unfairly held back, but you okay with him playing 2 games, 1 game, and you want him to play in the most important games in the Battle of Ohio, which means you believe in him. So why not just say he should be playing in all the games? They don't want to do that part. They want accountability for the most important games in Ohio. We want to see him play. How many games you think he's going to play? 1? So how many you think he's going to win? 1. How many you think he's going to play in 2? You did all that yelling and screaming for 2 games. When you see guys putting people on Shedeur's path and you get ready to see Shedeur had excellent composure, I feel like he was being himself. I feel like, and you tell me what you see, I feel like he learned a life lesson. And it had everything to do with racism. And if you look at the people put on his path to hold him up to it, to make sure he good, they all went through it, right? Myles Garrett was in an organization, they was losing, he wanted out. So he could help Shedeur with that. And Joku's, I think his lineage, he's athlete, comes from an immigrant family, right? They trying to pit them against Black Americans. And Joku's a first-year starter. He's not willing to be somebody that they could use. We talked about how Jerry Jeudy couldn't even talk about Shedeur. And Joku wasn't willing to be that person. I think they said Jerry Jeudy is somewhat Haitian. But he kind of was. So it kind of shows Shedeur who he can trust on that team. Because when he get the nod, whether it's by design or whether it's by accident or Mother Nature, they going to all be in his face. But the ones that put themselves out there knowing this organization is trying to intimidate and determine who it is you need to associate with, to control Black players and who they can associate with. The ones that put themselves on the line. And Joku, let's see if he get his contract extension. Myles Garrett, let's see if they keep trying to play in his face. And then you got Jalen Hurts. You see how they do him. And now Huntley, somebody that they discard. He said it. So let's take a listen to his interviews. Give me a second while I set it up. In no particular order. We're just listening. All right, let me see to make sure, okay, that y'all can see my screen. Oh, gotta take this off. All right. Okay. Okay, I'm sharing this one. Okay. So let's take a listen. This is Shedeur press conference today.
How's everybody doing? Good. Well.
I feel just get back out there after, having to kind of sit around a little bit and not be able to do everything you previously.
Yeah. It felt fun. Felt fun to get out there, be with the team, going into the final week. I don't know, it's weird. Like, consider training camp still? But I would just say preseason. Because on the film breakdown, I don't say training camp, say preseason. All right. So, final week of preseason. It's It's a lot because I know it's a lot of relationships with a lot of guys in the building and a lot of guys in the locker room that we all may never play on the same team again. And that's just the truth behind it. So I did everything in my power, to get out there and be ready for this week,
All right. So you heard that, right? There's a lot of people out there that you have relationship with. Y'all not going to be on the same team. I think that saddens him, Gage, right? I think it saddens him a little bit. But like he said, I got out there and did everything I could do. So if he get cut, we good. That's what it is. We know, we already knew because Gage said it. We know we might not be here. See, that is the perfect attitude to have. Let me tell y'all something. They want Shedeur to jump up and scream, holler, throw a tantrum like he in a grocery store with his mama and his daddy, and he can't get a toy. That's what they want him to do. But that's not who he is. They also want him to have a negative attitude and take shots at people like Dillon did. But that's not who he is. But that's who Dillon is. And that's what you want. So that's what you're going to get. This young man right here should be able to go to any team. But what it proves is that the NFL is still colluding against him, including the Cleveland Browns. So if Haslam wants to allow Stefanski to drag his team into investigations and racial discrimination suits, so be it. So be it. He good. And that's the point. And as fans, this is why we like to see him and hear from him, because we look at his body language, we listening to his tone, and we're looking to see where his mindset is. Like he said, I've given everything I could give. And what he's not saying that I'm going to say, and y'all still don't appreciate it. So I'm good. He know he got good film and tape out there. It just proves further collusion. And if that's what they want to do, let him do it. Shedeur is not fazed. Does he like what's happening? No. Is it fair? Absolutely not. Can he change it? No. He's done all he can do. So this is why I don't think he need to play against the Rams. They just using him so the advertisers can shut the hell up, because they bought the preseason package and they like, nobody wants to watch this. Like, if Shedeur out there, we gonna need, look at them numbers. We need that. We gonna need those numbers, right? So using him for everything other than his QB1 pro ready talents, it just further proves collusion and racism. You let me know your thoughts. Let's keep continuing on.
One last time with this group.
How is that oblique injury doing?
It's feeling good. Yeah, everything's good. In life, it's always going to be pain. It's always going to be things, adversity, things that's going to knock you down sometimes. But the main thing about it is you just got to push through it. There's a lot of people in this world that's going through stuff, but, I'm playing for a lot more than just me, you know. So regardless of pain, that's always how I've been, even in college, So in high school and everything from when I was young, regardless of, like, physically, if I don't feel my best, I still got to go out there and execute with no excuses.
So, okay, that's that one. All right. So we're going to hop over to another one. We're going to share a different one. I'm going to close the other one out so I can get some of these windows closed. So, again, this is why his nickname is grown. Shadeur Sanders is unbothered. He's unfazed. He see what it is. He know he can't change it. There's no point in complaining. There's no point in talking about it. They want him to throw a temper tantrum. They're trying to stab him and cause him pain, but it's not working. It's not working. All people are doing under the comments is praising him for being wise beyond his years. They're praising him for not being undeterred. They're praising him for knowing what it really is. And why is it like that? Because God keep putting angels on his path to say, hey, this is what it is. Again, what did I say Shedeur need to learn? That this is not about his father. That's what he is learning. They're saying I learned life in a different perspective. Yeah, what happened to me in the draft wasn't about my father. And I see how far y'all willing to go to hold back elite talent, black elite talent. Y'all willing to lose. Everybody put on his path was black. Every single person that we could see, from Njoku, whose family are immigrants, same situation. to Myles Garrett, who's the leader of the team that wanted to leave because they didn't care about winning. Same situation. Jalen Hurts, who they trashed, and he just won the Super Bowl. But the Kansas City Chiefs have the most primetime games. The Cleveland Browns getting a new stadium at the same time. The Philadelphia Eagles, who just won a Super Bowl, getting a new stadium. And Philadelphia ain't won nothing. Cleveland ain't won nothing. Don't even deserve it. So, yeah, what he sees is what the NFL really is. We talked about it yesterday. We talked about how somebody got to tell these guys what it really is. Somebody got to tell these guys what it really is, right? And that's basically what he's learning. He can now go back to Jordan Seaton and tell him what it is from a perspective of a black player in the NFL. He can sit down with Caden and tell him what it is from the perspective of a black quarterback in the NFL. And he can talk to Juju, who has a strong relationship with his black father. Remember, the NFL has a one-drop rule. So he can talk to him about, yes, the spiritual warfare, yes, but what it really is when you have a strong black father and how you're treated in the NFL. He's the one that can take it back and talk to all sides at CU. In fact, Coach Prime should bring him in with all of these guys and let him talk closed door off camera and be honest. And be honest. But he going to have to do one-on-one with the black players. I'm just saying that's what it is. You need to have that man-to-man talk. Young man to young man talk. Y'all want to go to this league? That's great. This wasn't about my pops. I've met so many people there that are black players, especially black quarterbacks, that have been devalued. Caden, you coming out. They probably going to devalue you. It don't matter if you have an agent. It don't matter if you nice and quiet. It don't matter if you wear jewelry. What you can't change is your melanin. And they go by the one-drop rule, Juju. So they going to treat you the same way. Just like you, they love Travis in college. Look at how they treating him now. And you a quarterback. So it's going to be different for you. They might come for Jordan Seaton high and early, like they did Travis. But black quarterbacks, the road is tough right now. It shouldn't be. It's unfair. It's racism. They have established or reestablished a system of Jim Crow. What's happening in the NFL is happening in a broader society. If you're paying attention to what's going on in Texas, it's what's going on in the NFL. Snatching things back from black people. So people who are racist can further their agendas. That's what it is. And you need to understand, it's not just white people that are racist against black people. That's just what you see most. That's what you see because they're in the highest places. We talked about it. This NFL season should be called Helmets or Hoods because that's what it is. Shedeur, who grew up wealthy and black, is being treated like he's nothing. So it don't matter if you're rich. That's a lesson for all these kids coming into the NFL with money. Maybe you didn't grow up rich, but you got it now. Primetime JJ. Maybe they're going to treat him like they treat Travis. Then and now. You might have to fight for your signing bonus. Maybe you're going to go to Coach Prime too. While they praise Mason Graham and Carson Swessinger. And while Jerry Jeudy sit quietly, tight-lipped, scared to say anything. But then there's always going to be people like Njoku and Myles Garrett. And you see they try to come for him too. So, like he said, it's going to be pain. And this has been painful. But it is a valuable, priceless lesson if you're going to play pro sports, especially in the NFL. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something. This situation can shake loose, like I said. You see people shaking things up, sponsors, advertisers, Nike basically leading the way. It was a matter of time. People are starting to repeat that. Be patient. It's going to happen. Be patient. It's going to happen. What's happening to Shedeur, nobody should sit back and be patient about. This is racism masterclass. You should be holding the Browns accountable. He should be feeling the pain of being ostracized and excluded and discriminated against and stereotypes hurled at him every other day by his own head coach because he's black. He shouldn't be living in Jim Crow America, where black men, regardless of how good or talented they were, weren't allowed to lead. That's what's happening. That's why they have mediocre and complete failure at the 1 and 2. Well, let's see what it do. I don't have a problem with him not playing in this game. I have a problem with them saying he gonna play because the advertisers holding the Browns accountable. And that's what's going to have to keep happening. So for people who want to use the words like it's wild. No, it's not wild. It's discriminatory. Call it what it is. I mean, we can't be the people it's happening to and we expect somebody else to come and do something about it. We can't rely on the advertisers who they don't give a damn about the politics. They just want him in the game. That don't mean he got to play. He deserves to be QB1. Flacco hadn't proved anything. Kenny Pickett hadn't proved the damn thing. And Dillon proved he don't even belong in the NFL, let alone in front of Shedeur. Call it what it is. You got to keep using your voice, just like Target. It's the same thing. Target makes $105 billion on average annually. The NFL is only $20 billion. That's easy work. That's easy work. And just like you patronize the NFL, you patronize Target, don't you? And you switched it up. Obviously, right? Well, keep switching it up because they are. That's exactly what they're talking about right now. Trying to go back to Jim Crow. Also, in the NFL, why you think they so bold? You don't think they know the agenda? You don't think they know what's happening in broader society? This is why they came and said before the combine, the NFL does not want quarterbacks like Shadeur Sanders now because we don't have to do it no more. We can openly discriminate. And that's what they're doing. So you're going to need to keep using your voice like you used it for Target. And you're going to need to keep holding the NFL accountable and don't expect nobody else to do it. Did anybody else take down Target? No. So it's going to have to be the same people who patronize the NFL to do it. They want to act like they don't give a damn about their black fans because Shadeur's black and we don't like what's happening to Shedeur. All right, then, stand on their head. How many people watch Kendrick Lamar? 88 million. If you don't believe you have power, ask Target. Plies said that yesterday at his concert, and he's spot on. They keep telling you you don't have power, so you don't use it, so you don't tap into it, so you don't hold them accountable with it. Keep speaking up. You see, they making moves. They inching toward the right thing to do. Like he said, y'all just giving me time to cook. That's all it is. He's unbothered. And I'm so proud of Shedeur because they are intentional. They are holding him back, intentionally colluding against him, trying to make him feel worthless. That's evil. So let's continue to listen.
The new DT96 cleats that would be out there that day. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, that's the second one. Let's move over to the third one. Okay.
Preseason game last week. Dillon was interviewed.
They're asking
and
about
he
Dillon's
talked
comments.
about the difference between entertainers and competitors. He called himself a competitor. Some people have construed that as a shot at you. How did you take that?
Honestly, I don't even think about nothing. I don't think about anything. If it's not words or anything, at this point, it can't do anything to me. I know, the God put the ability and the power within me to not even think about nobody else's comments, not care. It is what it is. I spoke with him. He said, nah, bro, that wasn't. He said, that wasn't. He told me on the plane. He came up. He was like, nah, bro, that wasn't at you. I see how they trying to spin. I'm like, oh, all right. I'm not tripping, regardless of whatever it was. Nobody's words or anything affects me,
So you heard him. He's not bothered by it. And y'all know why he not. Y'all know he grew up the son of Dillon Sanders. Come on now. This kid been on TV since he was what, 5, 6? He not bothered by people's comments. So whether Dillon actually meant it or not, Shedeur is unfazed by it. So keep listening.
So, yeah.
So did you believe him when he told you it wasn't on you?
Did you
Did I
believe him?
him? I mean, I feel like you're trying to start stuff now.
Right.
I feel like you're trying to start stuff. I mean, he's doing his job. He's supposed to. Do I feel like he did? I don't know. And that's not on me to sit here and be like, oh, he did it. That's not going to change my life in any way.
What's it been like to work?
So basically, he like, I'm not going to sit up here and reflect on this. I'm not going to sit up here and worry about this. And that's what they want. That's why I said they really want the Browns, the NFL, the owners that took him off the board, the people that said he was entitled, had an entourage, the people who were loud and wrong, the people who chose to collude, those that are being racist, that are hiding behind his dad being the problem when they're actually just racist and don't want any more black quarterbacks to become the majority of the starters. Because why? Because white quarterbacks are at the verge of becoming the minority. So this going to go one way or the other. In the draft, it was supposed to be Cam, Shedeur, and Milroe to become the majority of the starting quarterbacks, 16, 17, and 18 of 32, with Shedeur going at 17. But they flipped it in the draft. They got their way. They colluded against Shedeur. I don't know why they felt the need to humiliate him. They locked him out of the first round. They took him off the board, which meant humiliate and devalue him. That's evil. If you didn't want to draft him, you didn't have to invite him to the combine. Because why? Mel Kiper Jr. said it before the combine. And the NFL going to pay for that. That's why Shedeur going to get his money back. The NFL does not want quarterbacks like Shadeur Sanders now. The emphasis was coming into the 2025 draft because it's documented the trend since 2020 with at least three quarterbacks going into the top round, into the first round, were becoming the majority faster than they have, even with being banned from the quarterback position, being switched off, having it snatched from under you. What's happening to Shedeur right now has happened to Joe Gilliam and to Marlon Briscoe. That was in the 1960s and the 1970s. They trying to take it back further than that and resurrect Jim Crow. That's exactly what they're doing. Look at how they stole Anthony Richardson's job and gave it to a white QB that failed. Look at how Jerry Jones and the situation with Michael Parsons. Look at that. I don't know why Michael Parsons is expecting loyalty. I don't. He has a loyalty clause that says you got to be loyal to the organization, but there's no clause that says the organization has to be loyal to you. Look at Spencer Rattler. Only black quarterbacks are being forced to compete. There are no white quarterbacks competing for any jobs. The black elite quarterbacks are being forced to compete with the mediocre Tyler Shaws of the world. Spencer Rattler is competing with Tyler Shaw. Tyler Shaw failed at the combine. They don't care. It says it. Tyler Shaw has a relationship with Archie Manning. Archie Manning is a legend with the Saints. So you see how he got there. Influence. They all technically Nepo babies. And they're making elite quarterbacks like Tyler Shaw. Like Spencer Rattler. Hold on one second. Like Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler is elite. I don't know how he got the number 2 jersey over there, but it's warranted. He's elite. And they making him compete. And they forced him to the 5th round too. You're going to have to call this out. This ain't just happening to Shedeur. I've been saying that. Look around the league. You have to have a holistic view of the league to see what is happening. And when Adam Schefter called out that the competition in Cleveland is over, Shedeur won the competition twice, and they don't care. Joe Gilliam beat out Terry Bradshaw in preseason, played the first 6 games, won, and then they snatched it away, the QB1, and gave it to Terry Bradshaw. Shadeur Sanders has won, and they are blocking him from getting to QB1, which means they'd rather lose. Joe Flacco, 13 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. You let Shedeur have 13 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. It would be justification to cut him from the team. They are trying to relegate him to a disposable asset somebody that they have already discarded, Tyler Huntley. The best thing could happen to Shedeur is they do to him what they did to Tyler Huntley last year. Cut him. They would never do that to a white quarterback. Oh, we don't want to humiliate you like that. We don't want you to feel worthless. Well-being, caring and well-being is a part of organizational malpractice if you don't protect the well-being of your employees. The Browns are not doing that. Haslam and Stefanski are two. And I'm going to throw Andrew Berry in there because he knew it was toxic and he knew what he was invited to do to. He knew it. And they all did it under false pretenses. That's why they was upset that they got to move forward with this. And Stefanski's like, I already got Dillon. He a favor to Dan Lanning, so I don't want Dillon to move. It's more important for Stefanski to execute a favor for Dan Lanning than it is to win games. He's a detriment to the team. Not only is the league rife with racism, Cleveland Browns should be investigated for organizational malpractice because they have not created a supportive environment for Shedeur, and they're not protecting and taking care of his well-being. In fact, they're trying to destroy it. So let's see if we have any more clips up here from Shedeur. We'll listen to I have 4. So let's see if we can switch over to the 4th one. Okay. This is worse than y'all realize. And that's what people don't get. This is bad. What they're doing is evil. EVIL. Okay.
In order to go back to your comment about you're looking at it like you have more time to cook, I guess
more time to cook.
Important for you, and like you said, I mean, you haven't not been a starter in so long. Like, how are you just embracing this challenge?
Because it's like I feel like I've been through this already before. You know, it was a COVID year. Jackson State, I wasn't eligible to play because I graduated early. Then my purpose was going there and just do everything I can on scout team each and every day. So that's my reflection. That's how I'm able to get through any situation, anything that life, throws at me or whatever I'm going through is because I feel like I've done it, in a similar form. And then I think about, and I like when it's positive things going. I don't like to be negative, too much of everything because I know everybody works hard. A lot of people work hard. Life is hard, everything. So who am I to complain when you sit back and you think of everything in the grand scheme of things? So I don't even really try to even get down. And whenever, I even feel a little bit down, I just constantly remind myself, like, you can't be feeling that way.
So you see how he was almost imitating Coach Prime? It's funny how Shiloh does it too. They almost go into that little Coach Prime voice. When he was saying, who am I to complain about getting down? And what did Coach Prime yesterday say to I guess the Buffs in practice before they went outside? He said, do you ever see, what's his name? He said, do you ever see Ben? He said, do you ever see Ben upset or negative? No. That don't mean his life is easy. That just means he know how to leave it at the door. He don't bring it with him. He don't let it get him down. When you always in a good mood, it's because you have a good perspective about life. Shedeur has a healthy perspective about life. And I'm willing to bet when they plan to take him off the board and collude against him, they didn't know he had already been a backup or on the scout team at Jackson State because he was ineligible to play. They thought they were the first person to take him off of his pedestal. You were the one that put him on the pedestal in the first place. They don't like his celebrity, but they taking advantage of it. They hate to see this young man win. They don't want to see any black franchise quarterbacks because franchise quarterback is long-term. The Browns have never done 2 things. Drafted a black quarterback in the first round. Never. And secondly, they've never had a black quarterback, regardless of trade, draft, or how they got there, to lead their team long-term. They know Shedeur is good, and that's what would happen. That's what the fans would push for. That's what would be expected. It will be hard to let Shedeur go out here and ball out this season and trade him away. So they devalued him, and they want to treat him like a pass around because that's what they do. That's why they had him paired with Huntley, just like they had him throwing with the equipment managers. Did it stop Shedeur? No. He went out there and balled out after throwing to the equipment managers. So I don't think he's going to care about throwing with Huntley. Huntley is the next angel on his path to get him to where he is mentally. He already had a great perspective on life. Don't doubt a damn thing that you already been taught. Breaking out into his Coach Prime voice, all of that teaching. Since a little kid, going back to when he changed schools when things were new. I'm sure that played in his head when he first got to Cleveland and management was cold towards him. How certain players wouldn't gravitate towards him. Everything he is enduring right here, he was prepared to endure. That's why I know he's going to survive this or go on and thrive elsewhere. Just saying. Just saying. So Shedeur is that guy. They can't break him. He's like that as a rookie. It teaches the rest of the rookies coming behind that's going to be rookies next year because they're going to still come to the league. Now they know what it is. And that's what matters. That's what matters. You see what it is. So now you know how to get through it, which means they're not going to be able to hold none of these guys back. If these guys didn't grow up rich and they can make 10 million sitting on the back, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. And they're going to become triplets. And they're not going to care. They're going to take their money and do what they want to do with it. They're going to code switch at work. Then they're going to go home and be themselves. Hell, we do it in corporate America. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So it's not weird. It's discriminatory. Resurrecting Jim Crow. Treating him like they did Joe Gilliam. And Joe Gilliam won outright against Terry Bradshaw, just like Shedeur did, right? And they took it from him. After he had ended up with a 6-6 record. They won't even let Shedeur get to 6-6. They won't even let him get to the front of the line to start the game. Cool. It's not going to change nothing. Because you keep using him in your ads and everybody see it. Oh, we know he's the best, but you keep treating him like he's not. You can't even justify it. You don't even want him to make you money. Oh no, you do. It's just from the 5th or 4th string spot. Everybody knows he's not a 5th round pick. Everybody sees what's happening. They just end up stuck in a phase where they want to call it weird. It's discriminatory. This is bad. This is just as bad as what's going on in Texas. It's the same thing. Trying to keep black people from reaching places of influence. And when they get there, places of power, they snatching it back. That's all they're doing right now. It's snatching it back. Why you think Target rolled back their $2 billion DEI promise? Because the climate changed and they thought they could. Well, they lost. They lost. The NFL wants to invite fans to the games and become boycott proof. They don't want us there. They don't want us to hold them accountable. Too bad. We ain't gonna be at the game, but we gonna stand up for these guys. So Shedeur was good on his press conference. Unbothered by Dillon, unbothered by being a backup. I bet $10 they didn't even know that he was a backup before. And, they probably really felt like they were sticking it to him, oh, this going to really hurt him because, he been on a pedestal all his life. So have you. And that's why they upset, because he's at the same place that they are. That's a tired symptom of racism that is just old as I don't know what. I'm not comfortable. We're comfortable with Dillon. We don't want that kind of quarterback. I don't want your kind in my neighborhood. They said Caitlin Clark wasn't comfortable around her black teammates when she first got to Indiana. Understand, Kevin Stefanski know what he's doing. If you're bored, sit down and listen to his press conferences. And standing there with his back turned while Shedeur's throwing, talking to Haslam. Haslam just out there because the noise is loud. So, I don't know if y'all gonna watch the game or not. Let me look at the comments and see what y'all have going on. Thank you, No Limit Soldier. It said this young man is class. He's a true professional. That's facts. That is complete facts, right? Ben said, What she said, sports is just too entertaining. Rock on, sis. Thank you so much. But I just really hate that people who look like us, who see what Shedeur is going through, who are upset about it, are scared to use the word discrimination, or scared to use the word racism. Why? What you feel like you're gonna offend somebody? You should be offended for what they doing to Shedeur and Anthony Richardson and Spencer Rattler. Hell, and Herndon, making him the number 2 QB compete with the guy for 3 because they like, you know what? We don't want him to take over if something happens to Goff. Why? Because when Goff struggled last year with Detroit, Teddy Bridgewater had to get in. He was good. I said it. Why they take him out? And Goff got in and was Goff. 2% battery lifers. That's why they have 2% battery lifers around. That's why they are all salivating at who they believe is coming out first, second, third, and fourth as QBs. And they're going to manufacture it to make sure all them guys from that passing academy come on out. All the guys from the Manning passing academy are 1, 2, 3, and 4. Lenore Sellers is 5. The latest bad news for him after his father turned down $8 million for him to change schools and stay in school for 2 years. The latest bad news is he will go to Cleveland first. I'm like, I'd like to see it. Because just like we were about the Giants, they have never had a black starting quarterback. They not getting Shedeur. Now it goes, okay, so Lenore Sellers going to go to Cleveland as the first black franchise QB. Like, okay, we going to see. He going to be just like Cam in Tennessee. If they do it, it's to try to make it not seem like what they did to Shedeur was discriminatory. See, they know it. They know it's discriminatory. They come back and do things to try to not appear discriminatory. They want to skirt the line and use words like, we don't want that kind of quarterback, or we're more comfortable with Dillon. They know what they're doing. Coded, thinly veiled language. That's where they are right now. Kurt said, oh, thank you, KW1. Thank you. It said, hey, sis, I've been taking a knee since the dirt they did to Kaepernick. But you're my number 1 go-to channel for Shedeur. Thank you. Your knowledge and hella funny. Thank you. You deserve more flowers. We're going to get there just like Shedeur. We're going to get there just like Shedeur. And thank you so much for that, KW. I appreciate it. And, I don't know why people are afraid to speak the truth. I really don't. I think it's weird. But, that is actually weird. They not racist. They just scared to hold racists accountable. The NFL knows what it's being. Haslam knows what Stefanski's being. Where you think he got the idea from? Why you think Stefanski's the head coach at Cleveland? Because he's a servant leader. Go look at his bio on X. I'm like, anybody who says I'm the servant leader of the Cleveland Browns is not the servant leader of the Cleveland Browns. They're a servant leader of something else. And that's how he got 2 head coaching awards, because he has a subpar record and he's willing to do the dirty work. All right, let me look at the comments. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. Lately, I've been getting a lot of good positivity comments from y'all. I appreciate it so much. It says Shedeur got more fans than the Brown Stadium. Facts. Shedeur got more fans than NFL stadiums can hold. That's the crazy part. That's the insane part. It said, Robin, I agree with you. It said, but unfortunately, some people like to complain and do nothing as if somebody else going to fall in from the sky to help. Nobody will save you. I mean, that's facts. That's facts, right? And, my whole thing with Target, right? They were bold with it. Everybody was being bold with it. And they got caught. And they know Christmas is coming. So they like, hey, we're going to have to let you go. They could have let him go months ago. They let him go because Christmas shopping season, back to school shopping season, and nothing changed for them. So if back to school didn't change for them, they know Christmas not going to change. So, hey, we're going to give you about $14 million, but we got to let you go because these people not going to come back. I hate to tell them. We have moved on with the way of life that does not include Target. I used to go to Target all the time to get my Starbucks coffee because they have Starbucks in there, to get stuff. More, always buy more than what I needed. Honestly, when my kids were little, it was easy to spend $300 every Target trip. I had a son. I have a son and a daughter. Used to buy their little cute little clothes from there, especially when we were going on vacation. Household supplies, $60, blink your eyes, paper towels, toilet paper, everything. Plus this, that, and the other. Easy. Filling up that cart. Never even thought about it. And now we don't go to Target no more. We moved on without it. You don't even need it. And that money, we just not spending it. We still have it. And that's my point, right? Some people think, oh, you're going to go spend it somewhere else. No, I'm not buying all that from Kroger. We get the necessities that we want to cook with, right? But we just keep the money. I mean, we better off for that, to be honest. We deserve that, to be honest. So the timing of Target, knowing they make $100 billion, releasing him ahead of the Christmas shopping after back to school didn't change. It's convenient. You still ain't really doing the right thing. You just trying to, okay, we don't want to make it worse. So we going to have to let you go. And they even said he stepped down. He should have been fired. He should have been fired. And he going to get another job. Just like Stefanski get fired, he going to get another job. It should be at Oregon. It should be. But, this is what it is. This is where we are. What's happening in the NFL is a microcosm of what's happening in the larger society. This is why I said they're being bold with it. They right now trying to figure out how to toss out that lawsuit that's supposed to be going to a jury trial with Brian Flores, which is the reason they put in racism back in the end zone. So see, they know they have to move a certain way. That's why you hear Stefanski with the coded, thinly veiled language. Because it's not 1968. They can't go up to Shedeur like they did Briscoe and say, hey, you good because you black. We don't want you to be our quarterback. They can't go up to Shedeur and let him play 6 games and then give the start to Flacco and say, yeah, you're black. The fans don't want a black quarterback, because that's what happened. The fans were the one attacking Joe Gilliam. It didn't end well for him. It broke him. And that's what the Browns, not the fans, the Browns, with Kevin Stefanski leading the way, is trying to do with Shedeur. That's evil. And they're going to pay. Shedeur going to get his money. I told you from the jump. I know some of y'all heard me say it. It's not a coincidence. Deshaun Watson and Shadeur Sanders on the same team. And look at how they kind of panicked a little bit when it was said that Deshaun would take Shedeur under his wing. Deshaun is also one of the angels on Shadeur's path. He gonna know how to get that money back. So if Shedeur making money more than he made as a rookie, he don't have nothing to be worried about. Why complain? Notice nobody ever asked him about it. Notice he never mentioned it, but it's a reality, right? They want him to break. The Browns, not the fans. See, in 1968, it was the fans of the Pittsburgh Steelers that wanted Joe Gilliam to break because they threatened him, his family, vandalized his car. Okay, this 2025. It's out there, but they know they can't do that. The racism is real, but they know they can't move like that. Haslam Stefanski know that they can't just tell him point blank, period, we're going to move you out the way because the fans don't want you to be our QB1. That's not even true. That's not even true. They know. So they know they have to hide their hands behind their back. And the NFL is hiding behind the Browns. The owners are incestuously close. Do you see what Haslam doing? The rest of the owners seem to be just fine with it, right? They don't have to collude. They don't have to collude. But I can collude with you or I can collude against you. And if one owner step out of line, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be forced to sell your team. Blessings in disguise. Study playbook and study film. Facts. And you know what my thing is? He's learning. He knows. I think he knows beyond a shadow of a doubt. This has nothing to do with your father. And that's what he needed to learn. That was the biggest lesson Shedeur needed to learn after the draft. That's why all the angels on his path were black and have been done wrong in the NFL. Or on teams that would rather lose than win with a black quarterback. That's why. So I'm proud of Shedeur. Again, grown speak. That's what I call it. That's grown speak. I'm unfazed. If he say he didn't do it, then okay, I don't worry about it either way. He doesn't. And for Dillon to go up him and tell him that, we believe that that's what Dillon did. And we don't even want Shedeur focused on somebody who petty like that after they failed. But that's who they want Shedeur to be. They want Shedeur to be taking shots. They want Shedeur to be upset. They want Shedeur to throw a tantrum. No. And they say they're more comfortable with Dillon. Now you see why. It's that once Shedeur goes to the bench, nobody going to watch the Browns come week 1. That's facts. And the fans that believe he only going to play 2 games, that's not holding the Browns accountable for that travesty, want him to play in the battle for Ohio twice. At the beginning of the season, at the end of the season. I'm like, as much as you believe in him, that you want him to play against Joe Burrow, you should be over there holding Stefanski accountable. But again, we're talking about people who want favor from these big box channels, who want to be recognized by these big box channels. That has never been my goal. But for the people, now you know why they can't say discrimination, because they want to get sponsors. Look what happened to Shannon Sharpe after he got sponsors. This is the worst thing to happen to him. Sponsors and ESPN was the worst thing to happen to Shannon Sharpe. I'll say it. He was fine before that. He had his black audience where over 80, again, that number 80 million watching him and Cat Williams. That was all he needed. But then no, here come ESPN. And what did they do? He started changing up a bit. People called him out on it. He started mistreating Ocho. Ocho's the most interesting one on there now. He has his own brand. I said he needs to move off on his own, but he probably not, but it's okay. He didn't even need that. And without all of that, he would still probably have $50 million. And nobody needed to know that he was being pursued by 3 or 4 companies for his content for $100 million, because what happened after that? He got sued for 50. You're still black. Move in silence. Black fans, people got to stop spending money where they're not wanted. Facts, Robin. It said, well, I don't feel comfortable with Dillon not being able to play. Right. They said he can play. Did something change, Chocolate? Because they said, what's his name? Daniel Oyefuse. That's the one I get the news from. Him and Cameron Justice. I don't fool nobody else. It said, barring any setback, Browns rookie QB Shadeur Sanders, oblique, will play in Saturday's preseason finale. Joe Flacco will start. And Kevin Stefanski said rookie Dillon Gabriel will be the backup. I say go for it. Go for it. Let's see how they try to prop him up again, because that's all it's going to be. And I'm probably going to have to hear about it. I need to see who else is playing. Yeah, T-Roll, Deion didn't do anything. This is not even about Coach Prime. Yep, Chocolate said I won't be watching. Yep, I'm going to have to hear about the highlights. Just like the last game. I didn't watch the last game. I'm like, no, y'all not for use Shedeur and tell us he going to play and you put him in there in the last 2 minutes. Nah, especially after Dillon failed. Nope. They're going to use Flacco to get the score up. Dillon probably not going to do much. And then they're going to put Shedeur in there. And if I see number 74, it's on. It's on. Let's see if he play with Dillon and do his job. But he forget what it's like with Shedeur. It said he won't start with the Jets. Justin ain't going nowhere. He is covered and anointed just like Shedeur. God won't fix one problem by creating another. You might be right, Priscilla, because after watching Spencer Rattler, the first thing I said was, after I said that he was elite, and they also said it in the game, I said, this is why Shedeur didn't come to the Saints. I said, because they did Spencer Rattler wrong, and God gonna fix that too. And if you see, they got Spencer Rattler who balled out against Tyler Shaw. They want to try it again. Okay. The Browns want to try it again with Dillon. They want to roll with Flacco. The Saints want to try it again with Tyler Shaw versus Spencer Rattler, who's elite. Who's elite, without a doubt. And I think Anthony Richardson should file a grievance because of what they did to him is wrong. And to me, the NFL Players Association should be very visible right now because of what's happening to black quarterbacks. The NFL Players Association should be the one pointing out there are no white quarterbacks competing. only elite quarterbacks with white quarterbacks competing against white quarterbacks that have already failed. And if they could just go in there and take Anthony Richardson's job, then they could take Shedeur. So ain't no point in him getting it and humiliating him further, especially in an organization that will be toxic and even furthermore racist than they already been. So he in the best place, in the back with Huntley. Stay there. Let Dillon and Flacco and Pickett do it. Yeah, Deion didn't do anything. It's not about Shedeur at all. So people should definitely stop saying that. I mean, this is not about Coach Prime at all. You shouldn't even let that come across your lips. That was what this was about for Shedeur. This exercise for Shedeur was to learn that after the draft, there's nothing your father did. Nothing. This was not about your father. They scapegoated him and used the program as collateral to hide their racism. And they know it. That's why they still colluded. And they're going to continue to collude until they're forced to stop. And we don't know what that's going to look like. It's going to be the unexpected, though. Dillon and Shedeur playing, everybody watching. Yeah. But with Flacco and Dillon playing, I'm going to have to hear about it. I would start Shedeur just based on his ticket sales. If he fell off, then I have backups ready to go. They're not going to do that because he ain't going to fall off. See, that's just it. They holding Shedeur back because they know he good. What did the GM say? Barry, we know Shedeur will outproduce his draft stock. They know who he is. Stefanski said it. We know exactly who he is. He going to come in, he going to work hard or whatever, but that don't matter. That's what he did say out loud. We know Shedeur will outproduce his draft stock, but it ain't going to matter because we got another agenda going on. They know. And since he going to outproduce his draft stock, we're going to trade him away for more than what we got him. Buy low, sell high. That's what they're doing. Shedeur got more fans than the Brown Stadium. Facts. NFL stadiums too. I love your platform. It said, you are too loud for them. Facts. It said, I think they are hiding your live and posts. We scared them. I don't think so. I had 1 million impressions from YouTube. So I think we good. It wouldn't surprise me if it changes, but hey, we're also on Patreon. Yep, I set that up too. Haven't done anything with it, but if you're over there, give us a like and a follow, and we'll just come running. But I think we're good. It says Eric Dickinson said on Dan Patrick's show, the Browns was told not to draft him. Oh, okay. It's on the internet recorded. I mean, yeah, they colluded. Locked him out. I mean, it's obvious what they did. See, that's the thing. They want to be obvious with it, right? They wanted to be bold with it. They wanted to let it fly. Now you want to say, oh, it's his daddy. No. If you can put your mouth together to send somebody out here saying you don't want black quarterbacks like Shadeur Sanders now, this racism. And what's worse is, why did you draft the black quarterbacks like Shadeur Sanders now? Because you didn't want them to go anywhere else. Antitrust and labor violations are two of the NFL's biggest problems. They're not new to this. They just want to be bold with it, and now they want to blame Coach Prime. We see who Coach Prime is, and as you can see, it didn't slow anything down in Colorado. And for Shannon Sharp to come out and say Coach Prime is too old school with the punishment, I'm like, Shannon, at some point, you should just be quiet because you'd have been sued not once, but supposedly twice. After bragging, you don't want to give your daughter more than $30,000 for a wedding. You got to turn around and pay a 19-year-old white young lady who you were supposed to be involved in a consensual relationship with every dime you made in the NFL. You don't have no advice for Coach Prime. Stand on the side of right this time and hold the Cleveland Browns accountable. You was in the NFL. You know what it's really like. Coach Prime ain't the problem. I think some of these people audition for some of these big box shows by trashing Shedeur and Coach Prime. That's really what I think, including Cam Newton. Remember, he ended up over there too after that. Then he got gone when he wouldn't stop. It said, I read the Target guy wasn't fired. He's taking a new position. He stepped down. Right. Fired, stepped down, call it what you want, but they let him step down when he should have been fired. The point is, he's gone. He's not the CEO. That's the point. And the reason he's not the CEO is because the boycott was successful. The NFL is trying to make itself boycott proof while being racist at the same time. K. Hayes, it wasn't willingly. He had a push, right? It said they're not going to say that part, right? That's why I said it says he stepped down when in fact they really went to him and say, okay, look, we just went through the back to school season. These people not coming back. We got Christmas staring us in the face. It's an opportunity to try to get that $12 billion back. We're going to have to let you go. We're going to let you. Let me tell you something about corporations. If you really high up, they going to tell you we're going to let you go and we're going to let you decide what you want to say to people. That's what it is. It's the same thing. We're going to let you tell your story on the way out. That's what they do for you. When you're really high up, you get to tell your story. So it keeps you from being humiliated, right? And said the one time I went to Target for a simple run and rang out at $250 was my last time. In fact, they said black people spent $12 billion. I think that's right. Did they say $12 billion a day or $12 million a day? Maybe it was $12 million. I'm going to go with $12 million. $12 million a day. Let's just go with that. You know, we could be conservative in our calculation. $12 million a day by black people alone. Yeah, they felt it to the point it cost them $12 billion. So yeah, I'm going to go with million. When you think about their stores that they have, black people love Target. Not no more. We done adjusted and found something else and kept the money in our pocket. Hell, some people on cruises. Hell, now they going at Carnival because Carnival want to flip it up. You can't bring your fans and the boots on the ground and they want to change the DJ. And black people like, hey, you wanted us to come over here and we done came over here. Now that you done got your numbers up, you want to do us dirty. That's what they're going to do to Shedeur. As soon as they get Jackson Dart numbers to where Shedeur's is, they're going to cut Shedeur loose. These people are not going to do right by Shedeur until they are forced to do right by Shedeur. You can see he's listed as playing in the game. Why you think that is? Because advertisers ain't having it. They already paid their money. It's evil. Because of the draft, Shedeur will be the story for the whole season, whether people like it or not. Right. And I heard one guy on one channel say, the draft was light years ago. Let's move on. Nope. You're not going nowhere. You could talk about 26 and the whole 2026 draft. They're going to talk about 2025 and they're going to realize you're trying to prop up white QBs instead of drafting elite black QBs. And they're going to know why. 17 to 32. The truth is going to come out. It's going to come out. Amber said, I'm not surprised, but I thought they would have let him go. Nope. Look how long it took him to step down. After nothing changed. Nothing changed. The only people who black at Target are the ones that work there. Facts. And a spackle here there, but you could see the one in Atlantic Station. Atlantic Station is a big outdoor area, kind of like what Cleveland wants to do with the new Brown Stadium is put something like Atlantic Station around it, right? If you from the Houston area, you know what the Woodlands look like. So you kind of could, the Star in Dallas has the same thing. So that's what they want to do. That has changed. People just park in their parking lot and go to the outdoor eateries and stuff like that. They go get their coffee from somewhere else. Maybe they go to a standalone Starbucks. But Target is light. And that's why, because back to school just happened and nothing changed. Nothing changed. And they're like, oh, hell no. We ain't going to make it through Christmas. Nope. I can't think of nothing I need out of Target for Christmas. I really don't. I could get wrapping paper from Marshalls and TJ Maxx. I mean, honestly, what the hell I really need from Target? See, Target was a luxury. You didn't need anything out of Target. You get your groceries somewhere else. I don't know people who just go grocery shop at Target. I might grab a banana while I'm, out getting ready to do something else, but I'm not getting groceries from Target. Not like people get groceries from Walmart. See, they had it good. Target is a luxury that people can do without. I already said they can't do nothing simple. Proven. Just leave people alone. Just leave people alone. Just want to be racist. Racism is expensive. The NFL gonna find out. They only make $20 billion. They want to get to $27 million. They keep playing with Shedeur. They ain't gonna get there. Like I said, somebody like Coach Prime or Shedeur with that kind of reach. Shedeur has 3 million fans and followers. Let that sink in. And 2 million bought jerseys. The other million just waiting for the 2 to come back. Let him go somewhere else and start his own league. They drafted him, even though they didn't want quarterbacks like Shadeur Sanders now. So he wouldn't go to Canada and 3 to 4 million people go with. Also, so they wouldn't appear what? They tried it. Racism is expensive. It said they don't fire their people. Hell, he'll go somewhere else and slide in silent. Right. He'll be the CEO at Walgreens next. Or if it's a black woman CEO or a black man CEO, he going to get their job. Look at what they trying to do to Mike Tomlinson. Mike Tomlin, okay, Kevin Stefanski, y'all pointed out yesterday, has had 2 coaching awards. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. Kevin Stefanski has a sub 500 record. And they trying to get rid of him. It said, Gail said, have you noticed in the evening that some platforms are using what you put out during the day? When I noticed it, I said, didn't I hear this today? And I heard it from you. No, I didn't notice. But thank you. I'm not surprised, though. It's okay, long as they get the message out. But no, I didn't know. Thank you, Gail. It's that they're putting their hope on these other QBs to come, not knowing that they can be failures or teammates can cause them to be fail or injured. They better stop messing with the son of God. Facts. And you know what's crazy, though, Robin? They know who Flacco is. They know. They know who Dillon is. But they would rather. That's how you know this is racism. So this is not about winning. So what are you selling your fans? And that's why I said, you know, looking at a study of the Browns fans, I was like, has this continued for so long? Because I know the Saints fans get down on that team. They fire a coach mid-season. That should be Kevin Stefanski. The Browns fans are different. Some of them, I don't know. Some of them align with Kevin Stefanski and servant leadership, right? But the others that really don't, because we have several Browns fans. I don't think they like it, but I don't know if they're gonna do nothing. That's just how it's been. And now they're taking the city out the team and want to take the name with it to a city that's not Cleveland. And to me, I think they want to boycott about that. I think that is more of a priority. And maybe as the architectural plans come out, they ain't worried about that no more either. I say they too busy. One Cleveland fan came, Camaro Kitchen, said that Kevin Stefanski should have been fired 2 years ago. I don't hear the Browns fans calling for Kevin Stefanski to be fired right now. They should be, because they have Shadeur Sanders as a backup. So what you think gonna happen? Get out here and happen. I mean, didn't we see the numbers from training camp? Shedeur was the best QB, and you got him at the back of the line. Okay. That's why I said, okay. I mean, I see God putting people on Shadeur's path so Shedeur could be good, despite what they're trying to do to him. That means Shedeur is going to survive this. That means something is going to shake. And I think it's Brian Flores' lawsuit. I don't think they want that to get to a jury trial, because they talk about the quarterbacks being discriminated against, which means they lied on Coach Prime. Things going to keep shaking. It said Google Columbus State University Servant Leadership and Violent Extremists in Evaluated Framework by E.J. Russell. Oh, okay. I'm going to put it on the screen for y'all that want to Google it. I'll probably look into it. Thank you, Chocolate. Thank you. It said Gail Billups. It said because they are watching and know she's telling the truth. Yeah. It said, did you notice in the video of 12 practicing, Haslam was in the background watching him. Kevin was talking to Haslam, but Haslam was focused on 12. He may be softening on 12. I think he the reason Shedeur playing in the game because of the advertisers. I think he came out there because the noise is loud. I think he like, let me go out here. You saw Stefanski with his back turned. It says Shedeur getting the last laugh regardless. I totally agree. I totally agree. See, we so early in the process, right? And you can look at what has happened to some of the other guys. We're so early in the process that you could tell Shedeur is going to survive this. But what you can't tell based on the way they're moving, if they're going to get rid of him because the noise is loud, and they know they're not going to stop colluding because they can't backpedal from what they did in the draft because they blame Coach Prime. That's why the media is like, yeah, Dillon is good, because they don't want to say what people have been saying. Not everybody, but a lot of people, ESPN said it. They intentionally hold the Shedeur back. Shedeur not getting first team reps is by design, right? So now we have Shedeur playing in the game with little amount of time. That's probably what they're going to do just to satisfy Nike and some of the advertisers. Because Nike said it's a matter of time. That means Nike is saying Shedeur is good and we knew he was going to play. Well, guess what? Flacco don't ball out. Dillon can't get propped up, or being propped up don't work again. And Shedeur get out there third or second in front of anywhere, in front or behind Dillon, and ball the hell out. They're going to have to let it go. They're going to have to figure out something else. And then you're going to have to let that go. Then they're going to figure out something else. They being stubborn. They're being stubborn because they know he's good. What they didn't expect was for the fans to show up. Just like Cleveland didn't expect Myles Garrett or Njoku to, they didn't expect Jalen Hurts that the media wanted to talk about, covering Shedeur. Same thing with Huntley. They're going to be like, oh, we got to get rid of Huntley because, or get rid of Shedeur. But they try to show Shedeur, we going to do this to you. We going to do that to you. Like Shedeur throwing with the equipment managers. When I heard that, I said, oh, that's what the email had, the waiver wire. The email went out with a waiver wire to 2,000 people, including equipment managers. They had Shedeur throwing to equipment managers and still couldn't cut him. Now they got Shedeur paired up with Huntley, who they already discarded once. Let's see who they're going to discard. We're going to see. This game going to be interesting. I ain't watching it. Y'all going to have to tell me what happened. I'm going to support some of the other buffs. Because when they say Shedeur will play and they won't commit to start or close out, they're not gonna play me. So I'm gonna have to hear about it. 100% about Shannon. Yeah, no, he wrong for that. It said, hey family, Shadeur Sanders is cool as ice. He is, Sharon. It says Shedeur said he's happy because God got him. Right. It says Shedeur is a blessing. Sanders understand the program. Right. Football is a family business. And because Coach Prime got hated on so much, they know what time it is. But the glaring difference in the way Shedeur is treated and Shiloh is being treated and the way the other black quarterbacks are being treated, it's like God is holding it up for everybody to see. This ain't got nothing to do with Coach Prime. And this is further and additional and persistent racism against black quarterbacks in the NFL. That's all it is. It's held up for you to see like a painting on the wall by the Most High. You have to have a holistic view of the NFL to see it. Hey, Joyce, how you doing? How you doing? It says, I don't think Ocho wants to head a show. It said, it seems like he likes to be like Robin. I agree. We're talking about Ocho has a brand, strong engagement, the way he has been treated on that show at times. I agree. It seems like he got his hands in so many fires. He likes to be like Robin. Come slide in while somebody else sets up the show. Because, it's not easy. You have to prepare these shows. Even if you have a team, you still have to communicate to them what you want them to prepare. Because I know Shannon has a team. But at the same time, you have to check behind them to make sure it's right? So it's a lot. But for Robin, which they're comparing Ocho to Robin, Batman and Robin. He just slide in, turn his mic on, say what he got to say, turn his mic off, and keep it pushing. And that's why some guys don't want to start their own league. Same thing. I just got to train, go up to the facility, put my uniform on, fly on a plane, play a game. I do that, 17 times, and I get $10 million? That's why they don't start their own league. That's some of it, not all of it, but it's a lot of work. And I do believe that they have their own way of dealing with some of these things. All I want going forward, because I see these kids want to keep on coming, just tell them the truth. And they busy practicing. They ain't got time to be watching Shedeur's press conferences. Bring Shedeur in to these teams and tell them the truth, especially these black players. Just tell them the truth. That's all I'm saying, so they can have their eyes wide open and not get blindsided. You best believe Shedeur didn't see this coming, but you also best believe that they thought they were the first people to hold back a star QB. When he said at Jackson State a COVID year, I said, because there was another quarterback. I just thought he was still in high school. When he said I graduated early, see, they didn't know all that. They didn't know all that. They like, oh, we gonna hold him back. He gonna throw a fit. They think he Antonio Brown. That's what they think. They think he gonna take his shirt off on the field and lay out and make snow angels while he yelling and screaming, I'm the best. I'm the best. That's what they thought. But instead, they trying to ruin mentally and physically in the career of an innocent kid. He ain't 25 yet, so that's when the frontal lobe is developed. So let that sink in. The way he's handling this, he's holding a master class. By Dillon out here trying to be sling insults and he done lost the game. That's how you know they got him gassed up. It said, I noticed some of these black podcasters are tap dancing about what they know is true. Right. Right. And I think that that's what it is. I think we see it. So, you know, I think that's why I get tagged on X in certain things. It was G. Bush, myself, and somebody else was tagged today. And that's when I responded and said, because they were talking about Shedeur said, it's just giving me more time to cook. And I replied, that's grown speak. That's, quote, grown speak. I said, you know, he's resilient, he's tough, he's unbothered, and he's a winner. That's why people love Shedeur. So they thought they were going to destroy what people love about Shedeur. And they say they know Shedeur. So you that arrogant to think that you're going to destroy somebody who's self-confident because he don't start in a game. Come to find out, he's already not been the starter. What did he say? I just got out there on the scout team and did what I needed to do. I don't think many people knew that. And I know that burst their bubble. They like, damn, we still can't get to him. But Kevin Stefanski and people like Kevin Stefanski, those types, oh, they going to keep trying. But he good. He have too many angels on his path. What the guy set up first? I'm going to get you a driver so you're not ever anywhere by yourself. See, those tickets was a setup so he could actually be protected. He didn't have to go get nobody because he already had a driver. It says Shadeur Sanders better not run backwards on Saturday. I don't know why not, because Joe Burrows did it, and they liked it. They consider it tough, extending the plays. Again, the only reason why they don't want Shedeur to do it is because they don't want him to be in the same category with Joe Burrow, Pat Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson. I watched Joe Burrows, and I said it. I said Shedeur does the exact same thing. Yep. So Shedeur is a pro. He was trained by pros. So why wouldn't he be the next Tom Brady? They hate to hear that comparison because they don't want to let him get out there and be QB1 because they in the process of 17 to 32. Instead of 17 black quarterbacks, they want 17 white ones, and they got their way. So now they trying to work it out in the season. I said it. Well, you got it in the draft. You kept Shedeur from 17, Milroe from 18. Let me see what you're going to do in the season. They're at what? We said 15? And there's a fight everywhere where black quarterbacks are competing against guys that have already proven they're not the guy. Shedeur is better than Dillon. Pickett ain't proved a damn thing, and neither has Flacco. He should be QB1. Bo Nix got the opportunity to start, and he struggled, and they didn't take him out. But Shedeur, they going to hold him back so far that he don't even get to QB3 because they know what they got in QB2 and QB1. So this Saturday's game should be interesting. It should definitely be interesting. All right, we're going to get out of here because we'll be back at 7. We'll be back at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to watch Jimmy Horn Jr. play. Feel free to join us. We'll be live. Depending on how the game go, but I plan to be live during the whole game. So my 10:35 podcast, I'll already probably be live during the game because the game probably go from 7 to 10. So we may talk about it afterwards at 10:35. So if you don't catch us live during the Panthers Steelers game, catch us at 10:35 and turn your notifications on. We'll see how that goes. Okay. I'll see y'all later. Thank you so much for the support. Thank y'all for the engagement. Thank you, Ben Scott. Thank you, No Limit Soldier. Thank you, KW. I appreciate you. And thank y'all for showing up. Members, thank y'all for holding it down in the chat. Don't forget, members, we have a members-only live stream tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's our time to talk behind closed doors. And thank you, Cameron, for giving away 5 random memberships to people. So thank you so much. All right. See y'all tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on What She Said Sports. Thank you. Have a good one. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.